As another way to enter data, you can use the text input tool. The text input tool provides an Excel sheet-like matrix in the left configuration pane where you can directly enter data or copy-paste the table from external source. This is a handy tool for quick testing or inserting a limited size of data table. Let's bring the text input tool to enter some sample data. First, let's drag the text input tool from the in and out toolbar and place it right underneath the text input tool that is already provided. And if you look at the icon closely, you'll see that it only has an output node, which looks like a green arrow pointing to the right. And the orientation of this node indicates that the text input tool sends out the data to another tool, just like the input data tool. Back to the configuration pane on the left, we'll enter some column headers, brand, model, and MSRP. Brand, model, MSRP. Then we will enter some sample data for each rows. I will enter some car brand and car model and MSRP. For Audi, so I like Audi, and Q5, it's a nice car, and maybe 50,000. I'm not sure if that MSRP is a actually correct number, but just for the example. And BMW X5, nice car also, 53. Um, maybe Genesis, GV70, right? It's a nice SUV as well. 45, maybe. Okay, and from here, I will hit one more enter to get a fourth row. And right above the data table, there's a delete button and insert button. So by using these two buttons, you can insert or drop any cell, any rows or columns as you desire. In my case, I want to drop fourth row, so I'll click on fourth row and hit delete and select rows, like so. Once after your entering the data is done, then let's hit run button. And let's take a look at the bottom result pane. If you look to the right of the result pane in the upper corner, you'll see the data and metadata buttons. Right now, we have data button selected as default, so you can see the data that I just entered is showing. But if you click on the metadata button, you can see the data attributes information in the result pane. And we won't be covering metadata in core level, but for those of you who's unfamiliar with the concept, here's a quick analogy. Imagine that you're buying a package of meat from a grocery store freezer. It's usually in a plastic container with a sticker on it that includes information of price, weight, and obviously barcode, and maybe a date of manufacture of the item. So in this case, think of the meat itself as the data and the sticker that describes the meat as metadata. In other words, data about data is called metadata. Along with my metadata analogy, I'd like to emphasize importance of managing data types from the point of data import to make data processing at later point much smoother. For example, if you have data that will require numeric operations with other numeric fields at later point, Managing those data fields as numeric type data, like such as integer or double, will be a good precaution against data processing error at the later point. We will cover about the data types at later lectures more. And this concludes our introduction to text input. Please follow the instructions at the bottom of the text input box to complete the assignments.